We have audio problems. And what we're going to do is I'm going to answer questions. And hang on one moment. Be right back. I'm going to answer questions about anything, board games, pop culture, whatever, but I like to concentrate on the Kickstarter if I can because that will help people. And so I'll look through the comments here for Kickstarter questions. They get priority, but if you Twitter me at the Dice Tower on Twitter, if you send me a question through there about the Kickstarter, only send Kickstarter questions to that, that will be a faster way for me to get that and answer those more easily. So I'll answer some stuff here on the video, but I can see I've already probably missed a few questions. But just need to make sure you can hear me. Okay, sound is good? All right, so here we go. Again, Twittering me questions about the Kickstarter will get priority. I'll try to answer as much as I can. So let's jump right into this. If we get to the Z level on the Kickstarter, when will we see Board Game Blender appear? Well, first of all, I'm very excited about this. I've been talking to Z about this for a long time, and I couldn't wait to announce this because Z is really good to work with. He's just an excellent guy all around, and I'm excited on how this will help me streamline my day. As to when will we see Board Game Blender appear, I would expect to see it fairly close to midway through February, probably. We got to sit down and figure out what, we talked about having a draft of contributors, like I get Chaz and I get this person. I don't know what we'll do in that regard. But the contributors will be split between the two shows, and we might even be looking for more contributors and different things. So we'll see. I got another thing maybe up my sleeve too. Okay, so we even talked about blending board games in it, but the problem we have is I'm afraid that we would ruin a blender. Okay, let's see. Again, I'm looking for questions in regards to the coasters. Yes, I'll add those tonight. That somehow slipped through. I thought the coasters were already in the Kickstarter. There will be a coaster level and a coaster add-on for Dice Tower coasters, a set of 4 coasters. So I'll be adding that in sometime tonight, and there's even a couple more promos that you'll be seeing soon. The new promos for Sheriff of Nottingham, some promos for Robinson Crusoe, and we need some other stuff too. Not a ton, but more. Let's see. As for live playthroughs, people are going to ask for very specific playthroughs on different games, and that may or may not happen. I'm going to be the final decision maker, I think, when it comes to live playthroughs, because I have to decide whether it's interesting to watch and then if I can get the people who will make it fun to play. So will we do Imperial Assault? Yes. I'm just getting together the people to do that. Will we do different games? Yeah, I think. But you're going to see a lot more live playthroughs, just shorter periods of time. Let's see here. Tom, where's the musical episode? Well, that was our musical episode, the Gen Con episode. I think there's like 5 songs in it, so we're calling that the musical episode. I haven't made it a Kickstarter thing this year. Will this year's Gen Con be musical? Probably. Will what's the game's name now? Arcadia Quest. I don't know why it slipped my mind. The Arcadia Quest figure will come with a card. I just haven't posted those yet because they're still working on the powers of my ability. I don't know exactly what they are. I gave them some ideas of what I'd like it to be. So yes, it will come with that. And some people have asked, can we get that separately? So I'm going to mention this in my update tomorrow. But one of the reasons that there's some promos, like, for example, the promos in E, you have to get A, B, C, D, because we only have 100 of those. So people constantly ask me, I just want this one promo. I love to do that, but there's 2 reasons we don't do that. Because one is because we only have certain numbers of them, and 2, it would be such a headache to try to control. We only have a certain number, so if I said that the promos were add-ons, for example, what if 1,001 people added on the promos? I only have 1,000 up. What do you do then? So it's problematic, and this is the best way to do it. If we have extras, we then will sell them on our website after the Kickstarter is over, and we will have extras of the Arcadia Quest figure for sure. Can you pledge more than once on the Kickstarter for different pledge levels? You can, but you have to use multiple accounts. I wish there was ways where you could just go through and go check. But Kickstarter says we're not a store. They aren't a store, and so I understand that. But yeah, that's about all I can do. I can put a lot of add-ons on, But if you want to do 2 different levels, you have to just use 2 different accounts. Let's see here. Any idea what the add-on playmat will look like? No, that the artwork for that's still being finished. It's going to be different than last year. As soon as I have it, I will post it. I'm just waiting on the art for that to be done. When will the art for the wooden dice tower be finalized? Same artist. Just hang on for that. Would Kickstarter be interested to set up worldwide distribution? I don't actually understand that. Okay. Okay, don't forget, if you have questions on Kickstarter, go to Twitter. Let me just run through here. Is the rules lawyer and the food buyer both poker chips that are in the Kickstarter only? Both. I'm going to be on that too. That's an error. It was originally a food buyer chip, but we've changed it to a rules lawyer chip. So in the rewards section, it says food buyer chip, but what I mean there is it's the rules lawyer chip. We just changed it. I apologized. So if you pledge for the one with the food buyer chip, you're getting the rules lawyer chip. I'm very sorry about the confusion. How much did the Kickstarter pull in 2019? I want to say 131,000 or something like that. You can look at KickTrack. I will say that I won't lie. It's kind of cool to see that it's past last year's first day already. So that's very, you guys. It looks like we're going to fund. So I'm very pleased about that. Are you surprised that you're more than halfway? I'm always surprised. You can ask all the guys. I'm always very nervous before you press it because I'm afraid that this will be the year we won't fund it all. So, as soon as I posted it, it was nice to see some of the money going. And my kids are downstairs right now refreshing because they like watching the numbers go up. I try not to look at it that often because, well, I got stuff to do. Today was dump day. So we had to dump components of the games we're reviewing this week. Let's see here. Again, I'm going to answer a lot of these questions, but I just wanted to do some of the Kickstarter questions first. You should make a stretch goal hiring Melody and raising her allowance. I already pay Melody as an intern over the summer, although this year probably less of that since she's going to be interning at the Miami Zoo, which, as cool as it might be working for the Dice Tower, I think it's pretty cool that she can work for the zoo. Let's see here. All right. Well, here's the deal, folks. At this point now, I'm just going to go back up to the top, and I'm going to start answering questions as quickly as I can because it seems like there's a kabillion of them. If you have a specific question about the Kickstarter, send that to Twitter at the Dice Tower, and I will try to answer those. They'll get priority. Other than that, here we go. All right. How do you feel Nothing Personal stacks up against other negotiations such as I'm the Boss and Cosmic Encounter, and how would it place in your top 100? I didn't put it in my top 100 because I felt like that's weird since it's my game. If I did put it in, let's say 60, maybe. I think Cosmic Encounter is better, but I do think it's better than I'm the Boss because that one did not make it in my top 100, although both those are excellent games. Did I try to get the prototype for Shadowrun Hostile Takeover from Catalyst? I did not because I try not to get prototypes. Where do you like to spend your holidays? Do you prefer traveling or staying home? I love to travel. I love to go see new things, but not during holidays. For me, holidays are best at home, except July 4th because I go to Dice Tower Con. What was your first YouTube video review? I think it was the expansion for Shadows over Camelot. Possibly. And I still have that game, yes, because it's part of Shadows over Camelot, although I almost never play with most of it. Are you interested in Fantasy Flight's upcoming role-playing series, End of the World? No. I just don't have time to play role-playing games. I think they're fascinating, and you might trick me into playing a D&D 5th edition game at some point. I'd just like to see what it's like, but no. Is Nick from Board Game Brawl part of my gaming group? Sort of. Nick is a good 2 hours away from me, so we have that, the Cool Stuff store in Hollywood is like an hour from both of us. So we meet there once a month when we have our monthly Cool Stuff gaming, so we get to play and do things there. And occasionally he's driven all the way down to my house because he's crazy, but I'm glad that he's done that. So he's kind of part of my overall board game group, but he has his own local board game group. I have my local board game group. We just crisscross once a month. Kickstarter has an error on shipping to Puerto Rico. Shouldn't it be to the U.S.? I don't know. I'm going to file Kickstarter on that one. I don't think it's the same, but I don't know. When we actually ship the stuff, we'll figure that out specifically there. Well, let's see. Is the rules laying the food by? Okay, yeah, I already answered that. Time's up. Since the rules clearly state in bold text that no singing or humming of music is allowed. Huh. Well, I don't remember that rule being in there. We've always sung or hummed music, always. Um, it seems like it would be fun to do, I think. Huh. I'll have to get out the rules and look at that one sometime. I don't know. I've been playing it for years. We've always sung songs in it. Is there any aspect of the hobby that you think is not covered well? Well, yeah, I think there's lots of aspects of the hobby that do that. I mean, there's solo games aren't covered that well. I think that there needs to be a central that reviews all the Kickstarter previews. That would be a horrible job to play through all of them with the occasional burst of, oh, this is actually good. That'd be nice, like a Consumer Reports thing, but I don't know that that will ever happen. Besides, anytime I think there's an aspect of the hobby that's not covered, I sit here and think, can we cover it? Can we do it? Is San Juan a good card game? Oh, yeah. San Juan is a great card game. It's the precursor to Race for the Galaxy. Now, I like Race for the Galaxy better because I love the complications and coolness that Race for the Galaxy brought, but San Juan was easier and lighter to get into and not so overwhelming with the iconography. Again, I will answer questions for Twitter at the Dice Tower if they refer to the Kickstarter. Other than that, just put them here in order. Will the Dice Tower playmat this year be a different design? Yes, it's a completely new design. It just hasn't been posted yet. What do you think of Power Grid Deluxe Edition? Is it worth buying? I haven't played it yet. I keep bringing it to Game Group. It's going to get played soon. It doesn't feel very deluxe. It just feels like a nicer new version. It feels like Power Grid 2.0 rather than Power Grid Deluxe, but whatever. With Cosmic Incursion being between print runs, what expansion add a 6th player to the base game? Any of them. You pick. I would say Cosmic Incursion first, but any of them. Just pick the one with the color you like. Is Cosmic Dominion worth getting for the rewards deck? Yes. I like Cosmic Dominion. It's worth getting for the aliens. Are you planning on getting the 2 expansions that just came out for the Resistance? Possibly. We'll see. I try to get as much stuff as I possibly can. Is there a chance you'd be willing to do a top 10 list of your favorite books or book series? Well, that's actually one of the pledge goals for the stretch goals for the thing, where Eric and me and Z and Sam, we sit around and talk about our pop culture things that we like, movies and books and things like that. So let's see here. Have you played the Mountains of Madness expansion for Eldritch Horror? I have not. I would like to. I just haven't got a copy of it yet. Let's see here. Kickstarter will produce nice games, but users have to use mentality. Yeah. Kickstarter projects do extremely well when they have either a huge fan base or plastic miniatures and things like that. It just does. That's just how it is. But you know what? If a game makes 30 or 40,000 or 50,000 on Kickstarter, that's not a failure. I think that's a great success for them to do that. And then I think it's their job to now get that game out in the market, to start working with distributors, to start advertising the game, to make that game a viable game after Kickstarter. How many Kickstarters have come out where the game was just sent out to the people, the Kickstarter people got all excited about it, they played it, and then that's it? I would say a majority of them. A majority of them stop promoting the game after the Kickstarter's over. And that just boggles my mind. Wouldn't you want people to keep playing your game? Let's see here. On your Kickstarter page, promo pack B looks like someone familiar. Oh, that's me. Well, actually, though, I've kind of put a stop on putting me in games. I don't need to be in every game. I don't want to be in every single game. I mean, it's cool that I'm in Arcadia Quest, and there's a couple other games I think I'm in, but several people have asked me lately, and I've said no, because I'm in enough games, and that's really cool, and I'm really thankful to people, but it will start looking very egotistical if people open every game and there's something vassal inside it. How would I rate Myth today? I'd rate it a 7 or 8. I think it's a great game. The rules weren't good, but it's a great game. It's not in my collection currently. I painted the miniatures for me. I gave it to him for him to use, and he likes it a lot. So if I want to play it, I can play it with him. Does Alchemist stand out as an excellent game without giving it any special props for the digital innovation? I like the game a lot because I like games like that. You know, if there had been a cool way to do it without the phone, but the phone is absolutely necessary to it. So taking that part, still a very solid game. Let's see if I have any more Kickstarter questions. Is the Tom Arcana Quest miniature a hero or villain? I don't know. I hope it's a hero, but a villain would be cool too. Dice Depot stretch goal for Kickstarter? No, but I am working on Dice Depot. In fact, I'm recording an episode of that this week. One of the reasons that you don't see more stretch goals, there's all sorts of things I thought of, is because I don't want to overwhelm February to May working on getting all these things out and not actually producing content for you guys. Wouldn't it be cool if Imperial Settlers had a fantasy faction with a dragon location? Yeah, that'd be cool, but I'm not like rooting for it. It is what it is. Let's see here. Will it blend? Yes. What's the most valuable game in your collection? The Small World game that I'm getting in soon. Let's see. Do you remove any cards when playing with King of Tokyo? I don't. What other license would you like to see up your deck used with Legendary Encounter? DC. Wouldn't that be great? Mixing Marvel with DC? Woohoo! What is your least favorite game in your collection? Huh. Well, it would be some of the kids' games, I guess. The ones I don't like that Mustache Smash. I don't know. If I don't like a game, then I wouldn't keep it in my collection. So the least one, the one that's like teetering to be out, I don't know. I don't really think about that. When I get a game, I'll say, okay, is there a game this will replace or not? Let's see here. Okay, if you could be any person in history, who would you be and why? I'd probably be, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with who I am. I know that seems weird, but yeah, I don't know. If I could go spend time in a historical zone, I would like to go back to the time when Jesus lived. I'd like to go back and meet Abraham Lincoln, and I'd like to visit the Roaring 20s because I just think that'd be an interesting time. I started playing Summoner Wars, and I really enjoy it. Do you ever get annoyed with how it often ends with people running out of cards and losing just because your opponent has more cards on the field? No, I think that's part of the game. I mean, the game is to not let that happen. If your opponent has more cards out than you do, then they have outplayed you. Summoner Wars, there's no denying that there's luck in the dice rolling. But there's certainly a part of it that is strategy and tactics. And if my opponent outsmarts me, I lose almost always in Summoner Wars. I've started winning more often lately. In fact, I even beat Jason Levine a few weeks ago. No, I don't think that's a bad thing. Is Pretty Smash Up and future Smash Up expansions going to come with nice dividers for the big geeky box? Yes, they are. I need to cool off. I apologize. Someone said I needed to cool off. All right, let's see here. Are there any versions of Love Letter or Lost Legacy currently available that do not have problems with either murder or modesty? I think so. We got the Santa one. Does that one not? That one doesn't have murder in it, does it? I don't know. I think Letters from Santa does. Oh, someone just said that too. How long is the Kickstarter campaign going to be? It's going to go all the way up to February 1st. Or February 2nd, I guess. Is the Arcadia Quest Mini a full-fledged... Okay, I've already answered that. What's my family's favorite flavor of Doritos? I don't know what my family's favorite is. Mine is the Cool Ranch. Am I a fan of Dungeon Pets? Yes, I like it. Not nearly as much as Melody does, but I think it's a very fine game. Am I still answering questions before I even went live? That's crazy. Let's see here. Have you ever played a game with someone who didn't seem to be investing their attention like they'd rather be somewhere else? Yes, that happens a lot. Do I bring up to the player? I kind of do, but I just struggle through it sometimes, and then I try to pick the next game with somebody else. Is there a chance of a live Twilight Imperium 3 play stretch goal? No. When Z gets on full-time, will his theme song be some version Voice of the People theme? I have no idea what his theme song will be. We'll see. As we've been speaking, the Kickstarter's up to 44,000 now. That's kind of cool. Let's see here. On the 14-hour game session, you played Spyfall. When will that come to USA? If I knew, I would announce it in the Dice Tower News. I don't know. I've been trying to find out. Once we know, we'll announce it. They definitely have a deal for U.S. distribution. I just don't know who it is. Let's see. Lots of things about Z. How successful do you think Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dungeons & Dragons Dice Master will be compared to Marvel and DC? That's a good question. I don't know. I think there's going to be a group of people who will buy them because they want everything for Dice Masters, right? But will people buy just like Dungeons & Dragons and play it against? I don't know. That's going to be an interesting thing to watch. I would guess that Yu-Gi-Oh! Will do initially well because the Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan base will flock to it. Where it goes from now, I don't know. Dungeons & Dragons, maybe not so much, but I'm pretty pumped about it because it does look really good. And apparently, I've just got to the questions when we started the live session, so I'm 22 minutes behind, folks. I apologize. For the one, if you send me a tweet at the Dice Tower that's about the Kickstarter campaign question, I'll answer those first. I'm checking those. Other than that, I'm just going to keep going through in order here. Am I for the National Interstate Sales Tax Plan? I don't have an opinion on that, if I can be. I don't know enough about it to make an informed opinion. Let's see here. I pledged at the level to get the cool message from Eric. How will he record it on my voicemail? I think he just sends you an MP3 and then you put I think. I don't know exactly how it works. Let's see here. Tom, if you raise enough money, will you be able to get the cost of living increase? Probably not. I mean, I don't want to. If I raise enough money, I'll try to put it back in the Dice Tower. I mean, let's say we went ballistic and raised $160,000. Then I would probably look and try to hire another person because then I could do even more. I'm content. I'm very happy. I would like to take maybe on a nice vacation this year. That would be nice. And I would like to buy a few new pieces of equipment. But for me and myself, we're happy with our house. I just called the landlady today. We can stay another year. Hooray! By the way, there seems to be a misconception that I bought a house. I'm simply renting one. But that's exciting for me. And enough food to eat and occasionally do a few fun things. We're very content. I don't need more money. Cost of living increase. Sure, my kids do seem to be eating more food, but this isn't. I mean, obviously, we want the fundraiser to make enough money so that we can live over the course of a year. But I'm not trying to give myself a raise. Let's see here. Do you have any regrets of 2014? Well, there's always going to be regrets. I'm going to assume this means in the board game world. Well, I regret waiting till the last minute, maybe. Not to the last minute, but we put off that new video for gamers. We're going to get that done in January. That's one of the things we're working on right now. I wish we had done that sooner. But I'm really happy. It was such a good year. I had a baby boy. What a good year. He's crawling around now, throwing my games on the floor. But, yeah, that was good. 2014 was a good year. Can we get a stretch goal for a strategy series involving Jason? You guys say he's good at almost every board game. How does he do it? I don't know. Maybe he'd be interested in doing something like that. I don't know. I mean, remember, everything that we add, we need to not only record it, but edit it too. So we have to be careful how many series we add at once. So Board Game Blender is the second part to Board Game Breakfast I was talking about. Yes, it is. I thought it'd be really cool if Z would host that. I think people would like him. Where is the name Zunyer from? It's Cuban. What are your favorite hobby games which are suitable for all ages? I was just telling this to Z yesterday. The Cullen. If you go back and look last week, me and my daughter some stuff live. We played one where there was a box where you rolled a ball around inside the box. That is such a great game. Dancing Eggs too. Let's see here. Robinson Crusoe promos. Okay. Yes. Is there a link for the Kickstarter that I keep talking about? Is that not in the... Oh, that's not in the comments. Well, let me quick add that to the comments for people. You can talk about that. So 1 second here. I will add it in just a second. And there we go. It's now in the comments. A link to the Kickstarter. Okay. Do you think a reprint updated HeroQuest stand out enough in today's market? Yeah, I think there's room for a very light, fun, small dungeon crawler. I mean, I'm talking about lighter than Mice and Mystics even, just something simple like that. I don't know that it'll be HeroQuest since the rights for that seem to have been stolen by out in Spain, but will there be a light HeroQuest remade at some point? I mean, Crossmaster might come close to that. Will we see any less expensive tiers added that offer the Arcadia Quest promo? And will this promo be exclusive to this campaign? It will not be exclusive to this campaign. Most of my promos are what we call limited exclusive, where you get them from our campaign first, and then later on you'll be able to get them elsewhere. That's happened with Mage Wars cards in the past. Like the Mage Wars cards we gave out for our 2012 campaign, or 2013 campaign. Some of those have been appearing in different new Mage War sets, so they will come. So if you hate the Dice Tower, for example, you will be able to hunt some of this stuff down or go to publishers and get it at conventions and so on. In the case of the Arcadia Quest, we may have some of those left over when the campaign's over, and you might be able to get some from us, and I know that they're making some for them for, again, convention purposes. Have I considered moving to Twitch rather than the Google Hangouts for live show? I've thought about it, but until I find a way to hook it up with the YouTube channel somehow, I'm gonna need to do a lot of research in that. Have you considered using Patreon? Ask me about Patreon, and I don't really care for the fact that Kickstarter takes 10% of the money that we raise, but at the same time, Kickstarter gives you this big giant boost of rah rah, and we don't have to talk about fundraising all year round. We talk about it in. That's it. And I like that we don't have to talk about it all year round, which if we had Patreon, we would constantly have to be talking about it. So I don't know. I'd like to hear comments from people. I know some people would like to do Patreon, but it would not have the oomph, and maybe we'd make less money doing it that way. I don't know. Let's see. Again, if I don't answer your question, it's probably because I've already answered it. Let's see here. Can you buy promo B without buying promo A? No, you can't. Okay? I'm going to explain this one more time, and that's it. And if anyone else asks this question, you got to go back, and I'll do an update about this tomorrow. The reason we do the promos the way that we do is because I have limited amounts of them, and I have different amounts of them. Some I have 1,000 of, some I have 100 of. So I cannot sell them in all these different tiers because then people would be really frustrated if they wanted to get 4 or 5 different ones. So it's basically you get them all, you get some, or you get none. And I wish there was a better way to do it, but there really isn't without it becoming a logistical nightmare. And I'm very sorry about that. But again, they're just a few promo cards. If you don't want to pay the expensive amounts to get them, then please don't. Do something else. We don't want this ever to be a burden. I don't want people to support Dice Tower and be like, oh, I wish I hadn't given all that money. We're hoping that the money that you give is for the Dice Tower, and you're not looking at it as I'm buying this promo. Because if you look at it that way, then we're robbing you blind. And we don't want to be doing that. Okay, do I feel that trading on BBG is good? I think you mean Board Game Geek, but I guess I don't use it very often because if I get rid of a game, I don't need another game to take its spot. Do you play differently when playing with the girls? Easier, more fun moves? Yeah, sure. I always try weird stuff when I play with the girls. Sometimes I tried it my hardest to win like a mustache smash because I'm so slow compared to them. I just want the games to be fun. I don't ever care if I win. 99% of the time, I don't care if I win. So what does it matter? I'm just here to have fun. Okay, let's look at Twitter, see if we have any questions there. Again, the Twitter questions have to be about Kickstarter. What was the oddest thing you thought up for the Kickstarter but didn't put in this year? I think I thought of man, we thought up some really weird stuff. The one thing that almost made the Kickstarter but I pulled out was decals because I thought they'd be cool to put on the back of vans and stuff. Something I just print out and hand out at conventions or something. Okay, well, back to the questions here. Let's see. Do you know that people pay $10,000 to play a single board game with Will Wheaton and Felicia Day? Well, they're very famous. We're not famous, so I don't expect people to play that much to pay a game with us. I would feel kind of guilty. I'd feel like we'd have to be eating lobster or something. Have you ever thought about coming to the UK? I love to come. The chance yet. I love to come for UK Game Expo. Maybe someday. What do I think of Shut Up and Sit Down? I think they do a fantastic job. This is a good question from Jamie. He says, as someone who complains about campaigns that don't deliver, why are you starting a new campaign before delivering all from last year's campaign, the website being updated? Because the website actually is being updated. And since the campaign technically ends on February 1st and goes February 1st, there's a small chance that it will be done in time anyway. But with the money from last year's campaign that I needed for Kickstarter, I have paid that money and more to get this website done. It is really close. Right now, my webmaster, Robert Searing, is going through the website, learning the ropes and everything on how to add content. Once he has that figured out, our next step is to bring in other volunteers who are interested in helping put all our content on the website. And once the website then has all that content on it, then we can say, there it is. The website's already there. You just can't see it yet. Being worked on. It's being done. So other than that, we did all the stretch goals from last year with the exception of the video for new people. But again, that's something we'll have up in January. At what age did I start playing games? As long as I can remember. What was my favorite starting out? Probably Monopoly. Go figure. Many of my games are stored sideways, but this means the components are not held in their inserts and become disorganized. That's either the insert holds them in nice and firmly, like Colosseum, you can see right here. That holds it in firmly. Doesn't matter which way you put it. The games that don't, I have them in bags. Do I have any recommendations? Sandbox games. Oh, I did think about the sandbox game. Lost Valley is a sandbox. Lost Valley, you can go around, do what you want. You can go hunt. You can go get gold over here. You can go exploring. There's all sorts of things. It's not super sandboxy because essentially you need to mine gold, but it is a sandbox style game. Am I coming to Origins this year? Yes, I am coming to Origins this year. All right, let's see here. What are your thoughts on the last Hobbit movie? Man, I loved it. I mean, yes, there's one small thing that really irritated me, and that was there was not enough Bjorn, by far. By far. There should have been like a 5-minute section of the movie for him. Considering how much they put in everything else, considering how the book described it like he was the turning point to the tide of the battle. But other than that, I loved it. I know everyone complained about it. I've never understood the philosophy where people said, I can't believe you stretched it out to 3 movies. To me, I'm thinking, wow, worth of something I really liked. If they had made this a 9-episode series on TV, nobody would have complained. It's the same thing. And yes, I know they stretched out the battles really long, which I like. And yes, I know that they added in some stuff, which, again, for the most part, I liked. There's niggling things maybe I wasn't a fan of, but it's one of my favorite movies. I sat there, I cheered, I laughed, I was excited, and I went to see it twice. All right, is there a chance I'll review Roll for the Galaxy? What a great question. Come back this week. I definitely will be. Tomorrow, I'll be reviewing it on the Dice Tower podcast, and for video, you'll see it this week. Just dumped it an hour ago. Any news in the El Grande reprint? I don't know. Is there any changes you think they should make? No, I think it's fine. I might change some of the components, but other than that, the game seemed perfect to me. I know I was looking forward to getting Nehemiah from Essen. Have I played it yet? I haven't, and here's why. It's one of the few games that somehow disappeared between Essen and my house. So I'm going to have to hunt down another copy for it. That's unfortunate. I don't know how it happened. I went through and searched everything twice, but it's just disappeared. Do you think Heroes Gape is still worth getting into at its current price point? No. I don't want to be the guy who says, well, you need to go find this out-of-print game, because it is kind of. But if you find it, garage sales, Craigslist would be a good place to look for. If you find a copy, it's definitely worth that price. The outrageous price on eBay, perhaps not. Are you going to get the Battlelore expansion? Probably. How's your son doing? He's doing really well, thank you guys. Well, although he's about to turn 1 in a month, which is bad because I've always considered. I never understood why people said that there's the terrible twos. Because when they're 2 years old, you can say, "Don't do that," and they understand that. When they're 1 year old, they don't seem to understand it as much, and they're very destructible. I want to get a crib for my Geek Chic table. I used to let him like sit on the top of it and play with some toys, but he gets it close to the edge and it can't do that now. So I want to put him underneath it, and I let him play there underneath it on the floor with some toys, but then he crawls around and grabs wires for the lights and shelves, and oh man, that's just terrible. So I need to get like a drop down gate around and let him like sit in like a cage underneath it. But I know it sounds mean, like a playpen maybe, but oh well. What do you? I must, by at this point, I can sense that I'm extremely far behind in questions, and I apologize about that. And again, I'm apparently not getting the thing here that if you're going to tweet me a question, it must be about the Kickstarter. Other than that, you have to ask them here. There's one person who is not getting that at all, but that's okay. Okay, so let's get back to these questions. I apologize. I guess the best way to handle these guys is when you see that I put one of these up, you need to start putting your questions in right away. And eventually, I would also recommend go back and watch some of the old Q&As because I answer a lot of these questions. You're like, what's my question? Well, because I don't want to keep answering the same question every single time. What do I think is a superior game, Vinohost or Viticulture? I haven't played Vinohost, so I'll say Viticulture. Is there a gaming magazine out there for board games like Game Informer for the video game world? Yeah, there's a few board game magazines. There's one that's Spielbox, which has some nice pictures and promo things in it. There's not much other than that, and I don't really understand the whole point of them nowadays because with the digital age and stuff, and is it worth waiting a month or two to get a magazine about games that are already out? If board games could get in magazines and have previews of games before they were out on the market, it might be more interesting, but it's probably not going to happen. I don't like playing solo games, so I'm not going to do a solo game segment. If I get someone who wants to do that on a permanent basis, I would certainly be interested in that. I have not played a Doctor Who card game. Will we be seeing a Brewcrafters review? Probably. If Dice Hate Me sends me one, I would certainly like to try that one out because it looks very interesting. What Sheriff of Nottingham cards are in promo pack A? Well, I don't know if I have the picture for those yet. Let me see. I'm going to quick check my email and see if that's shown up yet because I know they were working on it. And no. But I should have it by the end of today. The way this card is going to work, I can tell you what the card's going to do. Each player gets one of these cards at the beginning of the game. And so what they're going to do is you can play this card whenever you are the sheriff or the sheriff is checking your bag. Before the bag is opened, it's called Gambler's Fallacy or something like that. Before it's opened, before the bag is opened, you can play the card, and it doubles the rewards or penalties of the bag. So if I'm the sheriff, I could be like, I'm going to check your bag. You're like, I don't care. I'm going to double the penalties. I can play the card down when I'm the sheriff before I open the bag. Now, once I play that card, I can't take it back. But then the player might decide that he's going to pay me now because otherwise he's going to be in massive trouble. Or that as a player, I can say I'm doubling the, sheriff, if that's good, you're going to have to pay me extra. Now, I might have stuff in there that's illegal, and I'm just trying to bluff the sheriff. So I'm very excited about that card. I hope that it does well. And okay, comments just went to the bottom. So now I got to catch up to where I am in questions. There's a lot of comments, and I appreciate that a lot. So anyhow, let's see. There's the Nehemiah question. There's the Battlelord questions. Oh, I'm pretty close. I feel like it. There we go. From the live show, Sam and Z did not like Zaya. Are you going to try to get either of them to play again? Maybe when they aren't overtired. No, I'm not. I never try to get people to play games if they don't like them the first time. I don't care because I can always play those games with people who do like them. I like to hunt down people who, if I'm going to play a game, if you really like it, I can play it with you. And so that's what I kind of look for when I play games, is to play games with the people who really like it. Now, maybe they'll go out of their way to try and play it again, and that's fine. But I don't try to keep making someone like a game. There's so many good games out there that's kind of a waste of time. My girlfriend and I like the persistent character progress of Shadowrun Crossfire. Are there any other games that feature this kind of progression? Well, Descent 2.0 does. Mice and Mystics does to some degree. Any kind of game where you go through like a dungeon crawl like that. Risk Legacy has faction progression. How does Dead of Winter scale different player counts? Is it playable with 3? I think it's playable with 3, but you know, now that I come think of it, I don't know that I've ever played it. It's always been 4 or more for me. What's your best resource for easy explanation of rules? Is there a YouTube channel, website? Well, if Rodney Smith has done a rules explanation at Watch It Played, then he is the best. We've had some rules explainers here on the Dice Tower before, and I'd love to have some more. And if you can find a YouTube video of the rules, that helps out a lot. Your prediction of the 15 years or older game that gets reprinted, could it be Milton Bradley's Thunder Road? Well, that's not one I thought of, but if that one was reprinted, that'd be pretty cool. Since Eric Lang is coming to Dice Tower Con, are you going to try to get Mike Elliott to come and answer the Dice Masters Challenge? We'll see. Have you designed board games yourself? I've designed one board game, Sheriff of Nottingham, sorry. No, I had Sheriff of Nottingham, had my bread. I've designed nothing personal. I am in the process of designing an expansion for Sheriff of Nottingham. But other than that, I'm more interested in playing games than designing them. What game do you think is best used to introduce deck building? If you tried with Dominion and it was a fail? The one from Eagle Games. What's that game called? Wow, my mind just went blank. With the toothbrushes and the fairies. Eagle Games has a deck builder whose name I can't remember. That's the one I'd recommend. Maybe I'll think of it before we run out of time. All right. Alma Kelly says, I just donated and wanted to get a Dice Tower. Can I donate twice, or how do I do to add on? What you do if you want to get an add-on is you donate more than a level. So let's say you do a 30 pledge, wanted to add a $40 add-on. Then you would do the 30 pledge level, but you would actually pledge $70. That's how you do it. So that's how you add things on. Do you put music on in the atmosphere for playing certain games? Oh yeah. I love music in the atmosphere for certain games. I used to have a war soundtrack. Soundtracks of movies, and I'd pick the war themes from them, and then they would play different, like the battles, the scenes, and play those. Now I have a Pandora channel that I'm slowly editing for like exciting music. What's the most overproduced game that you can think of? Here, bring it here. That isn't a special edition or a deluxe version. The most overproduced game? I don't know. Hey, look, I got a... What do you think's in this package? Let's find out. That's fun, right? Live unboxing. All right, here we go. I'm not recognizing this, but it was shipped. Actually, it's shipped to Tom. It's shipped to the Dice Tower. Oh, they're the mats. A guy sent me the mats for the Cube Quest. We played Cube Quest last week, and we had 2 big mats that didn't roll well. Can you guys shut the door? And he sent me 3 mats that fit into the box much better. Well, that's very exciting. Thank you. That's really cool. What a great thing to get. Stuff like that. Thank you, sir. Okay. Anyway, most overproduced game, that that one about producing stuff on Mars, I think. I'm not having a good day answering questions here. Most overproduced game that's not a special edition. There's a lot of them out there, though. How about that? You want a Tom figure for Imperial Assault? Doubt that's going to happen. Okay, I'm seeing the exact same questions asked again. Let's go to Twitter and see if I have any questions about the Kickstarter. Will there be any more in the future based on players' personalities like Alpha Gamer Kingmaker? Well, actually, Alpha Gamer and Kingmaker aren't they on the Kickstarter right now? Will there be a Pixel Tactics promo card in the Kickstarter? Yes, and as soon as I have more information about that, we will let you guys know. That they're going to be in promo pack B, I think, is going to have Pixel Tactics promo cards in them. All right. Actually, promo pack C, maybe? I don't remember which promo pack they'll be in. Which stretch goal would you like to unlock the most? Oh, definitely Z. By far Z. That's that you guys don't realize how much that will help me. I'm really excited about that. All the other stretch goals are cool and things, but man, having Z come on board would be amazing for me. It would help me out quite a bit. All right, let's see here. DC deck building as an intro deck building game. Yeah, that would work really well. I would recommend that one. As long as I like the DC. Actually, forget that. Even if they don't like the DC, there's hockey, there's Lord of the Rings. So any of those would be fine. In fact, I read something the other day. There were some people talking about me waffling with the DC deck builder. And and this is what happened with the DC deck builder is that when it came out, I hated it, and I still really hate it on a personal level, and I was really strong against it. But this specific game caused some problems because I said I didn't like it loudly in the game group, which irritated some people who were playing it, and I felt really bad about that. And I realized that if I continually rant about a game, anytime a game comes up, I'm like, that game's terrible. That's kind of rude to the people who dislike it. I don't get me wrong, I'll make my opinions known, and I'll especially joke when I'm in Sam and Z and stuff, but I have to be careful about bashing a game too much, especially when that game is doing very well, and obviously has a lot of fans. DC deck building game is played all the time. Everywhere in my gaming group, the people like it. So if I'm constantly bashing it, I just sound like a record that's run on. So my opinion that I hate it still stands, but I just don't want to be bashing all the time, and I have to realize that other people really do like it. Anyway, I haven't changed my opinion on it, but that's why I changed maybe my attitude on it. Okay. Again, we're really far behind in questions and answers, but we're going to start doing this on a weekly basis. How many kids do I have? I have 7 children, 6 girls, and 1 boy. Also have another son in heaven, and a daughter, and another daughter. Have I played the expansion Machikoro Harbor? I have not. I would like to. Will there be another expansion? That would be cool. How do you keep your kids from destroying your games? I tell them, don't destroy my games. Shadows of Brimstone review, ETA, who knows? I wouldn't count on seeing it anytime soon. Am I coming to Origins this year? Yes. If I was made into a character in Cosmic Encounter, what power would you like to have? Something where I roll a die. Even though when they designed Cosmic Encounter, one of their things was they didn't want to have any dice in the game, but I would love to have something with a dice. Again, if I'm skipping questions, it's because I've already answered them either here or in the last question and answer. Let's check more questions about the Kickstarter. Will I include the pandemic virus tokens in my Kickstarter again? No, because the amount that I had to pay to get those made was almost as much as the amount we charged them, and it was just kind of that wasn't worth it for us. So let's see here. Where are we now? Lords of Zidit is not going to stay in my collection for long. Why? I really, really like it, but I didn't love it. Actually, I really liked it a lot, but there's just another game that has a spot. Besides, I gave it to Z, so if I want to play it, I can play it with him. Again, please do not read in the games coming in a collection. This is a set number of games I have behind me. And so, for a game, it basically has to be in my top 250 games or be in my kids' top 100, because I have 350 games. Something along those lines. The game goes out of my collection because I thought another game fit its spot better. You just can't read into that. A top 10 political games list. That's a great idea. Well, we're gonna do that one eventually. Let's see. Have I ever played the old Broadsides and Boarding Party? Yeah, I think I played it once. It has some really cool ideas. It's not a very good game. It's more of a neat thing. It won't come back. No, it won't. Let's see here. getting a phone call. I'll have to answer that later. Let's see here. Will Star Wars Imperial Assault have a chance to dethrone Cosmic Encounter? Unlikely. I love Cosmic Encounter. I like Star Wars Imperial Assault, but it's not on the list yet. Okay. Have you considered offering some sort of Spanish version of the Dice Tower? And I have some close ties with Ketty. Actually, Ketty came and visited our game group last week. She's for those of you who don't know, she's a very big video caster from Chile. And she came by. It was very exciting to see her. I didn't recognize her first, and I was like, oh, wow, that's cool to see her. And she wasn't able to stay very long because they had their baby with them, and the baby needed to go to bed. So I wasn't able to play any games with her and all, but it was good to say hi to her. A Spanish version of Dice Tower, maybe, I don't know. It would be interesting. Why is Sam not hired by Dice Tower? Because Sam currently has a job as both a youth pastor at the church, and he is a full-time school teacher. And also, I don't know that I could afford him yet, as I can afford Z since Z is single. When is Dice Depot coming back? In a few weeks, actually. Would you like a copy of Original Hero Quest? Yeah, that'd be so cool. I would love to get a copy of that. I'd play it with my kids. It's a good way to introduce them to that thing. When you see Nick again, mock him for his endless use of anyways. I don't have a problem with him saying that. I'm up to 45,000, someone said. Wow! That's cool. Oh, that's really cool. All right, have I played the expansion for Robinson Crusoe? I have not yet, because if I'm going to play through it, I'm going to have to play through it like in a shot, because it's like a series. It looks really cool, though, but I can't wait to play it. Am I backing the Pixel Tactics Deluxe Kickstarter? I'm not. Nor right now, not because I don't love it. I love Pixel Tactics, but because I just can't back many Kickstarters. I try to keep my money focused on games that I can get right now. Occasionally I back a Kickstarter, but it's just usually for odd reasons. Have I played Ivor the Engine with my family? If so, what do you think of it? I did play it, and I reviewed it. Let's see here. Let's quick check Twitter and see if I have any more questions about the Kickstarter. That's not a Kickstarter question. Oh, how many cards fit in the Dice Tower card holder that's in the add-ons? I've actually asked Litco's the one who made these. I haven't got one of these card holders yet. Hopefully they're going to send me a copy of one so I can show you guys. But we're going to count how many it can hold both sleeved. They look really cool, I think. I thought that was a really cool design that they put together. So I will let you guys know. Will there be another musical? Still in debate on that. If so, it will be at Gen Con again. Okay, so those are the questions from Kickstarter. Here. Ooh, time's almost out. I'm considering moving to Florida, but bugs, especially large ones, and even worse are big spiders, scare the life out of me. What would you suggest? Well, then when you move to Florida, move to a housing complex that sprays for bugs and into a newer home, and you will not have a huge problem with bugs. Now, if you don't like the little tiny ants, then don't come down here because they're everywhere. But those are, you can kill them very easily. The cockroaches in our old house used to drive me nuts. The one time when I was working on editing a Dice Tower one and it fell on my head from the ceiling, I am not proud to say that the squeals from my mouth were not very manly at that point. And that's happened across your foot. The first thing I do when I get out of bed is wear socks. But in my new house, I haven't seen a cockroach yet at all. They're outside occasionally. Spiders. If you don't like lizards, now that's a different story. But everyone's got to have every state has its problems, right? Love Florida. Love the weather here. I love the fact that I'm going to go shopping with my wife tonight, and I'm just going to wear a t-shirt. It's great. Sorry, guys. It's wonderful. All right. Going to PAX Australia. One of the things I guess I should mention here, because this person asked about going to PAX as maybe a stretch goal for the Kickstarter. Going to conventions is not always a question of money, okay? But there's other things involved. When I go to a convention, I have to work double the week before to make sure there's enough reviews so that they go out the week I'm at the convention, so that we have a steady stream of things. So conventions can be very stressful. Secondly, when I go to a convention, I'm not with my family. And I'm already going to at least 6 or 7 conventions a year at this point, and most of them a week long. A lot of time to spend away from my family, so I have to be careful time-wise. And then, of course, there's a lot of other money things involved. Money does come in. In fact, even if, let's say, someone paid for me to get there and paid for my hotel room, then I still got to pay to eat. And, you know, it can be exhausting going to conventions, so I have to be careful on which ones I go to. I love to go Australia. I'd love to go to Australia, but that's a pretty lengthy, long trip, and I have to be careful how many of those I do over the course of a year. Star Wars Armada seems like it's going to be a great strategy game. Games Workshop's Gothic, like that game. What are two spaceship miniature games from the same company? What will happen? What will happen is Christian Peterson on a throne made out of money and just laugh and laugh. But it looks like you can play this one or you can play X-Wing. It doesn't look like they're really going to have much crossover, at least in competition-wise. What's my favorite time travel movie? Well, that's a good question. Because, see, I like time travel movies. We were just talking about that the other day on how time travel movies always have plot holes. But it doesn't matter because they're so much fun to watch, as long as they have a general basis. So probably my favorite time travel movie would be the Back to the Future trilogy, which is kind of like one big long movie. I like that one quite a bit. I also like the one where I forget the name of it, where the son talks to his father on the radio. Is it called Radio? I forget. But I like that one. That's a kind of a time travel movie. As a longtime RPG player, I wonder what board game would be most equal to an RPG game. Well, Descent would give you your fighting action. If you're looking for story action, then maybe something like Tales of the Arabian Nights, something like that, maybe. Okay, do I like Manhattan Project? I do. Have you heard anything new about Mission Red Planet reprint? I have not. What would you say is the best Christian game at this point? Probably King Solomon, maybe. I'm just kind of blowing through questions here, looking for some interesting ones because we are running out of time. When Z's in the payroll, can you make him type up these Q&As? Can I make him type them up? Oh, that's crazy, man. I am going to try to get Z on for Q&A. I was going to have him come in today and talk, but he's working on a theater production right now, so he wasn't able to make it in today. So that's about it. I'm going to answer. I'm going to look one last time, see if there's any more Kickstarter questions. Can we have anything for the Kickstarter at this point? Unless I put it in the Kickstarter, it says for a couple reasons. One, there's thousands of things, and that would be a lot of signing. But also logistically, some stuff doesn't actually ever come through me. This is cool stuff. They help me out quite a bit by shipping this stuff out. They do a fantastic job at it. But I appreciate that from everybody. Guys, I appreciate all these questions, and I'm really sorry again that I didn't get to answer all of them. And I didn't even get to answer maybe I answered half of them. But again, I'm going to try to do this at least once a week. So every Monday, look for when we do question and answer time. I'll also answer some questions with Jason Levine. We're going to be playing Star Wars Queen's Gambit later on this week. I think Thursday is when we have that scheduled, Thursday at 2 o'clock p.m. So when we're done doing that, we will then answer some questions afterwards, him and me there. So again, it looks like the campaign went up to 46,000 while we were talking, so maybe it will fund in the first week of us getting out there. So that's pretty exciting. Guys, I really appreciate you watching today. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and until next time, I don't know if I'll be able to do another question and answer this week. I'll think about it, but probably not. But until next time, I'm Tom Vassell. Guys, I really appreciate everything. I don't know why I've said that several times. My mind has gone a little blank here, so we better shut this down before I lose it completely. See y'all next time.